Hi, I'm Dave from Ancestral Evolution. I'm going to have a quick video here about how to make a pull sled for knees over toes or ATG type of training, which I've recently gotten into to rehab my knee, which I destroyed last fall playing soccer in an adult league. I'm 49. I tore my meniscus and ACL completely. I had ACL cadaver replacement and had my meniscus sewn back up. And now it's been about 3.5 months since the surgery, and I'm just now getting where I can do stuff. And by the way, walking backwards up hills has been really big for me as far as rehabbing my knee, and it's doing well. And then I've been doing this for about a week. Anyway, let's get to how to make this. So, first thing you're going to need to do is get a tire. Get a used tire. Don't buy a new one. There's no reason to buy a new tire. You can get a used tire literally from any place that does tires. They actually have to pay to dispose of them, and if you ever get new tires, you'll notice on there they charge you a disposal fee. This is a 20-inch tire. I think it had some sidewall damage or something, and of course I got it free. So this whole thing should cost you little or no money. Next thing you're going to want to do is take a drill with a large bit, a little bigger than your rope, and drill 2 holes in the top of your tire. And then take a rope, I use this green one instead of this just so you can see the difference, and looped it through here, and just simply, once I got the holes big enough, put it through here, tied it really secure in the back. So it's tied, it's not going to come off, it's not going to break. I'm never going to pull 500 pounds on this thing, so it's never going to break. Anyway, and then all I simply did is got another rope, tied that to this rope. I did have extra decently strong carabiner, so I put that on there. You really wouldn't have to do that. You could just make a loop and tie it to your belt. So you don't need the carabiner, but it's something you could get if you didn't have one. Next thing, weights. So I didn't want to spend any money on this, so all I did is get a bunch of random stuff I had lying around, like this really heavy chain, and then I'm putting it in the front here of the tire. I had some other random stuff, just some little weights I had. Put these in here, and always I'm going to put all the weight in the front here because I don't want the tire flopping up and down as I drag it. Random hammer piece, broken sledgehammer head, which is really heavy. And that's it. This, for me, I weighed it, comes to about 65 pounds with the tire and all, which is all you need, at least starting out, if you're wanting to do lots of laps. Now, a lot of people want heavier weights, but you could put more weight in it. You could put sandbags in it. You could get some large rocks and put in it. Really anything that's heavy, or just some dumbbells. If you got a bunch of dumbbells, stick them in there. Again, keep all your weight towards the pull front side of that, and that's all you need for that. Alright, now that you've got your rope attached, as far as the length, I went with what I could pull walking with it hooked behind me without kicking it with my feet. So if I got into a really long stride, my back stroke of my feet would not kick the tire. Next thing you're going to need is a belt. I just got an old belt that I've had that's fairly strong. It's a leather belt. It's got a pin style deal on it, and then I just got a pool noodle and just cut a chunk of it and split it in half, put it the belt, and all I do with that is put it around me and put it on. Doesn't need to be too tight, whatever, like that. Kind of spin it to the side so that buckle's not right in front, but certainly get your thing in the back there, and then you can hook this carabiner to it like so, and it works fine. It works real well. Again, obviously make sure your belt is strong enough. Don't use a belt that just has like a friction grip, because it may come out on you, and you certainly don't want to use like a super thin rope or super thin belt, or a belt that doesn't really hold, because you wouldn't want to be in the middle of pulling, especially backwards, and have that thing suddenly break loose, because that could actually hurt you. But that's really it. Very simple. Get a used tire, get some rope. You could use the carabiner or not, or you could just tie it to your belt. Get a belt. I recommend a little piece of foam or something, because it is really tight. It's gonna hurt. Kind of digs in. I did it at first without the foam noodle, and it actually really dug in my hips, and it was very uncomfortable. This is still not great, so here in a minute I'm going to show you one thing that I probably would buy that I bought that I thought was well worth the money. One thing too I wanted to address is I like pulling this on concrete because it's smooth and consistent. You don't want to pull any kind of sled, and rubber of course is going to be more problematic if you were on a rough surface. It's going to want to grip and jump and bounce. Concrete is actually really good for a tire because it's very smooth. If you had smooth pavement, that would be good too. Grass would not be so good because at first it might be okay, but eventually it's going to dig into that grass and kind of chunk it out, and then it's going to be jumping and yanking, and you want a nice smooth surface. Another thing, the one thing I did buy that I spent money on for this was, this is not very comfortable. It's not the worst thing. It was pretty tough without the pad. The pad made it better, but it still really digs in, especially when I put it like this and I do the forward ones. So I bought this belt off Amazon. It's what's called a dip belt, a weightlifter's belt, by Defy. It's like an Amazon's Choice, whatever. It was $18. Comes with a nice sturdy chain, comes with a carabiner, everything you need. Just hook it up, there, clip, and go. Very simple. I'll put a link below. This is really money well spent. This thing is so much more comfortable. I went about a week using this one, and it just was really digging into my bony hips. This is much nicer and definitely worth $18. The other two things I could not recommend enough, quite literally, is this Knee Ability Zero book by Ben Patrick and the ATG For Life book by Ben Patrick and Derek Williams. I got both of these. I started with this one. Like I say, started walking backwards, going up hills for my recovery for my knee, and then started pulling the sled. Now I'm doing all the other stuff in this book. And then now I'm starting to progress where I can do stuff in this book again as my knee gets better and all that. So super recommend it. Love these guys. Love what they're doing. Please be sure to like and subscribe. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them below and we will get back to you. Thanks.